welcome to the video. It recently came to my attention that May starts tomorrow. I thought it was a prank at first, but it turns out it's not. Time is just going like whoosh, like it has been for, I would say it started in 2020, but maybe it's just getting older. I don't know. But apparently another month has gone by. I don't always make a big deal of the new month, not as much as I used to when I was really into bullet journaling, when I would do a pretty strict setup for each month. But I've been seeing people do monthly resets, and I realized that I actually do something like this every month. I just haven't really put it into a process until seeing other people do it. So I thought, you know, I kind of do a monthly reset, and that's what we're gonna go through today. We're gonna tidy everything up, start fresh with the month of May. Step 1 is to prepare your physical space. In other words, clean up. I've been trying to incorporate cleaning as more of a daily task instead of letting things pile up. So there's not much for me to do at the end of the month, but this is a good time to wipe down my desk, put things away, recycle papers or our package boxes. Things tend to collect on my desk and on the little shelf next to my desk. So I like to take time to clear everything out, get rid of all those stragglers, and start fresh. If the floor was messy, I would take this time to vacuum, but I literally just vacuumed 2 days ago. Crowley sheds constantly, so there's already hair on the floor, but it's not enough for me to worry about it. I'll get to the vacuuming again in, you know, a couple days whenever it's time to vacuum. This creates a nice clean surface, and then we can get into the rest of the reset in a fresh, you know, tidy mindset. Step 2 is closing out the old month and preparing sort of the grounds for the new one in terms of goals and planning. This is going to be a little bit different for everyone, depending on how you plan your months or your days or your weeks, or whether you plan at all. Since I'm using the 12-week year sort of plan, I usually will just update my lists once a week for the week. So I don't really do monthly planning anymore because I do it quarterly and then weekly within that quarter. But when I did use a bullet journal with a monthly spread, I would take this time to go through and make sure all the goals that I got done are checked off. A habit tracker's updated, any other collections that might be used in the bullet journal that need to get updated throughout the year. This is the time to do that. Another thing I will do is update my budgets for the month. So I will go into my budgeting software, which I use Mint. I've used it for like literally like 15 years, if not like maybe a little bit less than 15 years, but it's been since I had my first job at 16, I've been using Mint, and I like it a lot. But Mint does automatic tracking, so I don't need to actually type in transactions, but sometimes it gets the transactions wrong. So at the end of the month, I will go through all the transactions for the month, make sure they're categorized correctly. So that's usually a pretty quick process, and then I will also shuffle my budgets around. And then at the beginning of the next month, I will put everything kind of back how I wanted it. I like to make sure at the beginning of the month that we have a good blueprint for how we will spend money throughout the month. I love budgeting. I could talk about budgeting forever, but I've had trouble knowing exactly what people want to see. So if you would like a video about how I budget, leave a comment, let me know. I would be so happy to do something like that. So I have also seen people who will review their metrics at the end of the month. So like if you're a content creator looking at your views or your follows or your subscribes, whatever. I don't usually do this. I usually look at analytics as needed throughout the month. I don't usually do a big review at the end and make any sort of plans around analytics. But if you do, now is a good time to do that. Go through, you know, your growth or lack of growth, in my case often, and see maybe what you want to do for the next month to improve those numbers, or maybe you just really want to try something new. It's a nice transitional period to go through stuff like that as well. What I can show you, what I do at the end of every week, is I go into Notion, I look at all of my quarterly goals, I see where I'm at. If I need to adjust my plan at all to get everything done within the quarter, doing that on a weekly or monthly basis just keeps you on track. So we're gonna go into Notion, and I am going to run through my goal list. I went over what all my goals for quarter 2 were in a different video. I'll put that somewhere. So I'm just gonna go over the progress on those goals and any that I've gotten done already. Okay, here we are in Notion. I'm still deciding whether I like this new Notion setup. Once I get something I'm really happy with, I'll do a video on how to set it up, but for now I'm still experimenting, and I'm still getting it just right before I share it. I have these weekly goal sections, and then I also have quarterly, and all the tasks are inside of these plans. I think I called them plans. So what I'll do, trying to get an eye on how I'm doing, my progress, I'll open the quarterly one. We can see all the goals I have for this quarter. I learned to make these cool progress bars for tracking progress through a time frame from Red Gregory. I know I've mentioned their channel before, but I will link it. Great Notion tutorials over there, 10 out of 10. So we are 31% through the quarter, which makes sense. We're almost at week 4. And I have completed 13% of my tasks. This seems low, but remember, most of the tasks I have planned to go throughout the entire quarter, so a lot of them will stay in progress until the very last week. I also have some money tracking in here. That's one of the big reasons I wanted to start working on this new setup. I wanted a way to compare the effort I put into various types of content and the value of that content, whether it's estimated, how valuable I think it will be, or how much I actually make. I'm getting some interesting results from that so far, but like I said, it's not quite done yet. For my game project, I'm working on a game that I'm going to hopefully eventually publish on Steam. I have finished one task completely, which was to implement the transition between scenes. So I have a main menu now. You can click a button to go into the game, and at the end it takes you back to the menu. And I worked on a lot of the code to sort of transmit information about the player between these scenes, which was a big thing that I had to figure out. I also started a little bit on learning to compose game music. I've been pretty casual about that. I haven't done a ton of work. What I have been working diligently on is the customization for creatures. So it's basically a vanity skin feature, lets you change how the creatures look when you use them in the game. I'm very close to being done. I might even get it done tonight, but it's technically still in progress. So those are all my game goals, my game related tasks. In the mortal vessel or health-based goals, I did my caffeine reset. It was really rough. I did a video on that too. I've been meal prepping pretty regularly, and I have done my 2 strength workouts every week. So I'm doing pretty good on these. All of my simple wealth goals have been in progress pretty much the whole quarter. One, I'm trying to keep a weekly cleaning routine. I've been doing pretty good about this. I've been working on a plan to replace the floors in my house, which hit a setback with a lot of other home costs we had to pay for this month. There's not a lot of money left over to pay for floors. So this one, as much as it breaks my heart, I think is probably going to get pushed a couple months at least, because we need to sort of recoup that money. I have been practicing drawing and working on some print-on-demand designs to feel out that as a potential source of income. And I've been knitting to finish my hue shift blanket to use up that stash and reduce the amount of yarn that I have just sort of lying around in my house. So all of this is in progress still, nothing's done yet. And finally we have media community. I've finished taking the streaming masterclass by Ninja. I have some thoughts on that I'll put into a video at some point. Otherwise, I have been continuing YouTube work, Medium work, streaming on Twitch, and I've also kind of on impulse started a YouTube course that I'm liking so far. It was kind of pricey, but At this point, no regrets. I feel pretty good about that purchase. Still, it feels pretty valuable so far. We'll see. I've been tracking all my time on these projects in Notion, and so after I've done this for a while, I should be able to see if I am allocating my time towards the things that have the biggest impact on me and my creative goals, and that's kind of where the money comes into play. The one monthly setup task that I still do is add reminders to my monthly spread in my Passion Planner. So I do a lot of planning digitally, I do a lot of bullet journaling in a plain notebook, but I use the Passion Planner for time blocking because it has some really nice weekly timelines. It's very easy to just highlight things, plan my day, and make sure I have time to do everything. But there's also a monthly spread in the Passion Planner that I like to use as a quick reference, a quick guide, mostly for recurring events. So if there's anything truly critical that I need to remember to do, I'll put it in Google Calendar. But for stuff like, my Twitch streams, payday, different things I will put in the Passion Planner. And I've got some cute stickers that I got specifically for this off of Etsy. So first I'll put in my Twitch streams. I use these little Twitch logo stickers to mark my streams each week. I have somewhat recently changed my schedule to free up my weekends. So now I'm streaming on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from about 7 p.m. Pacific to about 9. Sometimes I go a little past 9, but I try not to so I can get enough sleep for the work day the next day. So I'll just put these stickers in on each of those days. I'll do a little highlight, and then when it's closer to stream day and I know what I'm streaming, I'll write in like what game it is or what I'm going to be doing on stream. I also have stickers for payday. They're just cute little money stickers, so I'll put those on the days where I should be getting a paycheck. And then I'll also highlight in green where I need to pay bills on the 15th, and the last day of the month is usually when I do those. I'll also write in little weekly reminders like to meal prep, content planning time, giving Crowley his flea medicine, and anything else I can think of. I do have a couple days off this month, so I will highlight those as well. So this is really all I do to plan for the month, and this is mostly just for fun. It's because it's a nice quick thing I can flip to and look at when I need to know all of these things. But to give a full view of how I set goals and how I come up with what I'm gonna do for the week, let's head back to Notion one more time and look at how I prepare for a new week. So I mentioned in Notion I have the quarterly plan and the weekly plan. So we're going to look at the weekly plan now. When I'm setting these up, I will look at my quarterly goals, go through them one by one, and break them down into weekly tasks. And this is kind of like how I use the Edison app from time to time. I did a video on that where you start with this larger idea of where you want to go, what you want to do, and you just break it into bite-sized chunks, something you can do in a day most often. So I'll go through, I have all of these tables set up so that they're connected, so all of these smaller tasks are connected to the quarterly task or the quarterly goal. And one thing that these broken down tasks have that the quarterly ones don't really have, or they don't really make use of, is this work date. So I will assign these tasks to specific days of the week, and with that I create my week board, which is just this board with like cards on it for each of the tasks, and it shows all of the things I want to do on each day. This is my favorite part of this Notion system that I'm building because it makes it very clear what I need to be working on every day of the week. I can easily drag something from one day to a different day if it turns out I've overbooked myself, which happens very often. The one thing I really don't like is that all the tasks are filtered, but even if they don't show up in this filter, this hidden group list just gets longer and longer every week because there are dates in the database. They're just not shown here. I don't know how to get rid of this. I think it's just gonna get untenable as I continue to use this system. So this is actually one of the biggest problems with my system, is that as I use it, this random column that I'm not using for anything is just gonna get longer and longer and take up space on the page. It drives me crazy. If you know how to get rid of this, please let me know in a comment. Okay, because I do a lot of the prep work for the entire quarter, my goal setting is pretty easy, but if you need help coming up with what you want to do in the next month or the next quarter or the next week, here are some prompts to come up with some goals. What can you do in the next month that will allow you to be creative? What can you do that will make your life easier in the future? What have you been excited about lately? What do you want to learn? Think about these things, write down some ideas, spend the next month working on those goals, and then see how you did when you reset again, whether that's next month or next quarter. So that's my overall reset process. It's changed a lot as I have shifted from a more monthly plan to a weekly plan, but it's this cyclical process that sort of reflects the natural flow of things. So you can really do this reset anytime that is appropriate for you. It's this idea of reviewing what you've done, clearing the space for something new, and then, you know, laying the groundwork for what comes next. You can put those series of steps anywhere that feels right. You could do it quarterly like I do. You could do it weekly like I also do. You could do it monthly. If you're not really worried about controlling productivity or progress at such a granular level, you could even just do this once a year. It's a nice way to prepare your workspace and your mind for a new chapter or a new project, a new phase. So now I'm ready to go into May. Mostly. Can you ever really be ready for a new month when time is going faster every year? I don't know. But I hope you enjoyed this video. It was really nice for me, kind of a throwback to my monthly planning videos, which I enjoyed a lot. I just don't really do that process anymore, so it doesn't make sense for me to do a video every month for that kind of thing. So this was fun. If you want to check out more of what I do, you can subscribe here on YouTube. You can find me live on Twitch or at a number of other places that I will link in the description. I'll be back soon with another video, and I hope to see you there. Bye bye!